Hey everyone, welcome to Camppatton Family Compound. Tonight is Monday night Fireside Chat. Tonight's topic is what food can you powder? And of course, we'll also add the question of why would you want to powder it? But first, I'd like to say hi to everyone out here. Got below me, I got Tammy from Rebel Canners, and I got Ray from Fat Man Prepper, who's calling himself the Powder Chief.
Powder Chef. Howdy,
Powder
y'all.
Chef. Powder Chef, sorry. And let's see who's all in here in the side chat. Hendo 19742 came in first. Then Gardner Josh came in. Then Idaho Garden Girl, Always Survive. Tammy came in saying hi to everybody there too. Gardner saying hi to everybody. Kaylin Strain came in. Prepped for Eternity Homestead. Suburban Hillbilly. Rebecca Terry's here. And King Poopa. There's someone who's going to be doing a lot of powdering this summer and fall.
Oh, yeah.
And Jay's in the house. All righty. And Ontario Homestead's here. Hey. So this is something that I really hadn't thought much about because of, all the other canned stuff we had, wheat and everything else. Yeah, wheat can be considered powdering it when you turn it into flour, but it's a different aspect of it. And one of the things that I suddenly was realizing, my wife started talking about herbs and stuff for medicinal purposes. Got to use the right word there and keep, slow my tongue down so it can engage my brain. And translate what my brain's thinking. And so she started talking about that stuff, and we started talking again about getting a freeze dryer. We have a couple old dehydrators, and I'm talking old. Let's see. My mom's dehydrator was from before I even met my wife. And so we have that one, and one of the parts of the relay for the heating elements going out on it. So we're just going to have to trash that one and buy a new one. But then my wife has a couple she got from her mom and her grandmother. So the old cheap plastic ones that were about yay tall and about that big around, and 4 layers or whatever, and no heater at all, just a fan. Hey, Gear Grinding's in the house. And so I started thinking about why, what all do we need it for? And then I saw on another channel someone really getting into it, and that was, if I can remember the name right here, Jill. I've been watching a bunch of her stuff. And it's Jill something. Jill Winger, Old Fashioned by Choice.
Mm-hmm.
And she was showing doing powdering her tomatoes, and she dehydrated them all first, and she had a big old jar full of them. And when she got done, it was like bleep. So before we get into actually talking about it, I want to show you some of the stuff I spotted out here when I was just looking around for it on it. Talking about stuff where I'm powdering like the basil and stuff like that. But and then they had a picture. These are all different types of peppers. You got a big color extreme there. I'm almost thinking, I wonder if you could paint with that stuff. You should definitely keep the kids from playing with it. But there's just about anything you can think of it looks like. You got all the different nuts and berries and everything else. You can powder. And shoot, I forgot what this is. It begins with an A. It's a short word. But, they were talking about powdering it. And then you got, they're showing raspberries, freeze drying and crushing them up, and then powdering them. And you got, of course, it looks like I think that's the raspberries as well. That's what it said on the link there. So that's what I put in. But to me, that kind of looks like something else. That almost looks more like, because the deep color on it, more like a pepper or something. But, yeah, so it could be.
It looks more like a powdered tomato.
Yeah. And then, you got, like I said, you got all the different nuts and stuff and um, berries and stuff that people use for spices and stuff, black pepper and all those others, you can powder all that stuff up. And of course, garlic and onion. I cook a lot. We cook a lot with garlic and onion powdered. And my wife was saying the last time she was up here that the garlic powder is much more intense than the granulated garlic or the dehydrated garlic. Just something, so you put a tablespoon of this in, it's like, boom. So, and then there's turmeric, whatever. And then, a lot of people, I guess, dehydrate to powder. And you're showing you can just dehydrate just about anything and then powder it up. And then I've spotted this one. Freeze-dried fruit powders. I mean, that was just sort of a light bulb went off in my head. It's like the grandkids will love this stuff. We start freeze-drying strawberries and grapes and everything, and then powder it, and you got your own instant powdered drink mix without all the sugar in it. Yeah. And Tammy, today on yours, you mentioned about powdering honey.
Yep, you can powder honey and mushrooms. I think the most bang for my buck is mushrooms as far as getting your B vitamins and sneaking it into gravy or anything like your meat, your roast.
So powdered honey could be used as the sweetener instead of sugar for powdered drink mixes, juice mixes and stuff.
So can powdered apples.
Powdered apple? Okay.
I've also used powdered peaches for sugar in recipes.
Cool.
There's also like powdered peanut butter.
Yeah, powdered peanut butter. I want to get in that in a little bit here. But here shows, fresh tomatoes and what they look like freeze-dried. Fresh raspberries, what they look like freeze-dried. And then, of course, they take it, put it in their little thing, and away it goes. And because it's taken from the top, you can't see how much it's gone down in size. And that's what I had for that. And so that's just kind of ideas of stuff that I want to talk about here, and get pick the expert's brain down here. And it looks like you're burning something there in the stove there.
Yeah, well, It's just, I'm waiting for the smoke detector to go off for the dinner bell.
Okay. And just going back to the side chat here, Josh was saying paprika, and Jay was wondering powdering, a way to sneak vegetables into picky eaters' meals, of course. And that was something you mentioned earlier about kale on your live stream today.
Kale is so nutritious. It's such a huge powerhouse. Too bad it just tastes like soap. It's so bad. But when I powdered it and snuck it in, my kids, we put parsley on everything. So we have salt, pepper, and parsley on the table because parsley is a blood purifier and it's really good for you. So I've snuck the kale gradually into the parsley, and even I can't notice it in there.
Okay. And let's see what we got here. CB came in. That's Hugo Homestead. And Idaho Garden Girl has done tomato skins. She's also made her own cayenne powder, but she used a lot of different peppers. And let me just throw that one up there. There's probably more of a cayenne jalapeno. It was tasty, yeah. So let's catch down here, get caught up here. Tyler, B number 2 is in the house. And Tyler, we're not going there today. That's not on this one. We do that on other ones. Not today on this one. And Passamaquoddy, how you doing? And great, got back up. One of the things that I've always been wanting to ask people that I don't know if anybody's done it or just used the powder, the peanut butter powder.
What about it?
I've always been, I'm kind of picky about peanut butter because peanut butter sometimes gives me like a rash, and the only way I can eat peanut butter, got to mix honey in it, a lot of honey in it, and the enzymes in the honey counteracts whatever is in the peanut butter to give me the rash. So
Well,
it works for me. I'm weird. I'm not like anybody else.
You got to understand there's a difference between peanut butter powder and peanut flour. Peanut butter powder has sugar added into it.
Mm-hmm.
Peanut flour is just the peanut itself that's been powderized. It has no sugar. And to me, that tastes the best. I actually add that to my farina in the mornings.
The peanut butter powder is really, really popular with a hiking set. If you're a long distance hiker, you'll be carrying the peanut butter powder because the weight is much less than carrying peanut butter. It packs a lot of protein, and you're not worried about the sugar in it because you're burning your calories.
Okay. Now I forget who I was on here with was talking about how when you go to rehydrate the peanut butter powder, about don't use water, use oils or something like olive oil or something like that.
Yeah.
You want to use a regular peanut oil. Same thing that came out of it, you want to put back into it.
Okay. Now that brings up another question for everybody, just so that everybody get the information on it here. How long does powdered peanut butter last? How long does peanut oil last on the for shelf storage? And you're talking about peanut flour. How long does that last? That's a question I got. Just since you mentioned it, got rolling around in my head.
The oil is going to go rancid first.
Okay, hang on a second here.
Regular peanut butter and the ground peanuts are going to go second, and I think that the freeze dried would probably go rancid the last.
Yeah.
It's all going to be dependent upon. Well, Tammy's right, first of all, but it also is going to depend upon how you store it. Mm-hmm. I have 5 pounds of peanut flour that I dip into. I haven't even. It's in the original bag with a hole cut in it. Mm-hmm. It's lasted me a year, and it's still good. I mean, I'm not too concerned about it with just the powder itself. When we start adding things in like sugar, then I start getting a little bit more concerned about storage. And peanut oil, of course, any oil, they can last anywhere from 6 months to a couple of years, depending upon how it's stored.
Right.
Keep the oxygen out of it as much as you can.
Yep.
In the freeze dryer. He's talking. Oh, and he says
you do never put oil in the freeze dryer. Yeah. It will not freeze dry. Oil is not water based.
Yeah. Peanut oil, olive oil, any of the oils and fats like from hamburger and stuff like that gum up the works of a freeze dryer. And then you got to clean it after doing some of those things.
Yeah, you'll be spending days cleaning that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and Wendy Hardnack Farms is in the house. Hey, Wendy. Christy Betts is here. Hey. Listening from an off-grid cabin with a little signal. All right, Christy. So, one of the things. Go ahead.
Passamaquoddy asked a question up there, Gil. She asked, what is the best kitchen appliance for powdering?
Oh. And what do you recommend?
I use a coffee grinder because a lot of the things I'm grinding would tear up a blender. I actually burned up one blender. So I went and got a coffee bean grinder that had never been used, and I use that.
Now, I've seen several people use different things depending on how hard the item is you're grinding up. If you're like powdering, freeze-dried tomatoes, just a regular little Cuisinart, drop it in and it's powdered. But like you start using stuff like nutmegs or peppercorns or something like that, you need something a little bit stronger.
A coffee grinder or the good old fashioned mortar and pestle.
Yeah. And my wife has a mortar and pestle, and we have a coffee grinder that I used to use for my koi fish for some of the feeds and stuff for the koi fish to break it up small enough so the koi fish could eat it easily. Okay. All right, Terry. That's it. Oh, Josh timed them out. Okay. So.
Yeah. Some people just
Thank
have
you,
nothing better
Josh.
to do.
Yeah, they don't realize. I asked them politely. No, yeah, we're not talking here because not everybody that comes into my chat is a Christian. I'm a Christian. Tammy, I know you are. Josh, Ray. Yay or nay?
For lack of a better term, yes.
Okay, so but some people just some people are just uncomfortable with someone firing off stuff in the side chat all the time about it. So that's why I asked him not to do that. So, what is probably the most? How do I put this? What would probably be the most useful thing if you could only powder one thing?
Tomato powder.
Sorry, my thing was going to. Apple pectin powder.
Apple pectin powder. That would you be using that in canning? Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is real pectin. It's made from apples, so yeah.
Yeah. Now I know, and we're just waiting for Justin King Poopaw to fire. Dustin King Poopaw to fire in the side here to say peppers, because he is planting a lot of peppers.
I say tomato just because with tomato powder you can do so much. You got tomato soup, tomato juice, tomato paste. I mean, and a lot of American cooking use tomatoes in sauces.
Oh yeah.
So I always say tomatoes would be the.
Yeah. All right.
And the trick with tomatoes too, when you're canning, you can take the skins and the cores and powder those. So what you would throw away as waste, you can use to make your tomato powder.
Yeah.
And you get those additional nutrients.
Tyler, what we are prepping for here is life, not Armageddon.
Bye, Tyler.
Prepping for life.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, he needs to go again.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do it this way. Hang on, let me take care of that one. I'm just going to go.
Yes, Caitlin, you can make ketchup from the tomato powder.
Yeah, anything that's made with tomatoes, tomato powder is you're going to make it from it.
Hey, Tennessee Bushcrafter. Now, like Kaylin says here, I froze there for a second. You can make ketchup from tomato powder, and Tennessee Bushcrafter, makes powder like crazy. One of his favorite powders. What I'm thinking about is two things, because tomatoes grow like crazy up here when they have cow poo on them, and I got a dairy where I can get cow poo from.
Perfect.
One of the things my wife and I are been experimenting with lately is trying the different brands of salsa. The one thing I don't like about most salsas, everything's big and chunky. It's not smooth where you can dip it. You get one time you get a big old piece of pepper on there, next time you get a piece of tomato. I want a nice even blend. And to me, if we had everything powdered for the salsa, we could store that probably a lot longer than if we canned the salsa. Yeah. Is that true, Tammy?
Sorry, the kids were loud in the hallway. Yes, it does store a lot longer than canned foods. The major benefit is right now lids and jars are so hard to find. And, what would take a quart, you can put in a little tiny half pint jar. So as far as space, it's way better to store as freeze-dried.
Now, I don't know if you've done this before, Tammy. We got background buzz behind you, Tammy.
Oh, sorry. My airplane is landing.
Airplane's landing. Now, if you're to make a salsa or get all the ingredients powdered and stuff, to rehydrate it, some salsas I've tasted like they got some vinegar in it. And so you probably want to use a little bit of vinegar plus water, whatever, to rehydrate everything. Is there? I'm not sure if you've done this yet or not, or is this going to be like a theory of it? What would you use to rehydrate the ingredients to make a salsa?
Sorry about the buzz. Onions, peppers, tomatoes, lemon juice.
Lemon juice.
Dried cilantro. I think that's it.
But
maybe vinegar. But lemon juice was the acid I'd use first.
Lemon juice would be the acid, and some water and stuff. Okay. Tammy's landing a biplane. All right,
nice. The alien's coming for Tammy.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Dustin says he makes smooth salsas like at a Mexican restaurant, and yes, it is. Some of the restaurants we like they don't have the big chunky salsas. They got the smooth ones. And someone said back up there, Tennessee said, try picante versus salsa. Yeah, we've tried everything, and it's like I love the salsa stuff that is served at Los Panchos in California. It's almost like a watery tomato paste as far as the consistency of it, but it's got all the flavors and everything in there, and you don't get a big bite on something you're not expecting. You don't scoop up a piece of a pepper when you're not expecting it and have it bite you. Hey, Lewis. Shawnee Shaver. Shawnee Shape. I'm butchering the last name. I apologize, Shawnee. Good point. If I had a freeze dryer, would love to make the following powders: bouillon, orange juice concentrate, and tomato. Yeah. And that's one of the things I think my wife is going to really consider getting once she retires and comes up here with me, is looking at a freeze dryer. Probably not the first year, probably maybe the second or third year, after we suddenly have a garden that's producing with a greenhouse. So,
believe it or not, a lot of people will actually freeze dry steaks. And sometimes the steaks fall apart and they'll just crumble that up. That makes a beautiful bouillon, or even an addition to a gravy to give you a little bit meatier taste to it. And they do sell meat powder, basically, is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. That would probably do really good for making a gravy, meat powder.
Yeah. It does.
Yeah, it probably give you a little bit thicker gravy and a more robust gravy. Last time, yeah, go ahead.
The mushroom powder really adds a new dimension to your gravy, especially people that don't like the texture of mushrooms. But if you add the mushroom powder instead of flour to thicken your gravy, it makes a wonderful gravy.
All right. Okay, two things real quick here. Christy said, the last time she saw canning jars in a thrift store, they wanted more than she could buy new. So, and of course, hey, everyone, T-Hand 141 Homesteads here. Hey, how's it going? He had a great video touring, I guess, his kids' farm, because the grandkids are giving the tour while he went around with the camera of the place. Really nice. One of the things that my wife was brought, like I mentioned before, my wife was interested in the herbs, and for both medicinal as well as flavoring. And the garden in the front yard in California, there's no lawn. The front yard is all garden. We got a 30-acre lot there. And the backyard, there's no grass. It's all garden. And hey, Teresa's here, Springfield Ridge Farm. And she's got all these herbs growing all over the place in the little mini raised planter bed she has out there. And in the pots, she's got rosemary, sage, thyme, you name it. She has different all the spices and stuff out there. she was actually looking at getting to do turmeric and a couple others as well. But so that's probably going to be one of the things she really wants to get into and learn herbal medicine. And herbal medicine is mainly powder, as far as I know, a lot of the stuff, or you make, and I guess, a powder, when you're making a tea, you don't have the residue of the leaves and stuff because it's all powdered and dissolves and goes away.
Powder tea or salve.
Yep, salve.
Oh, Dustin has a question for you. I'm going to throw it up here.
Okra powder could be used as a thickener in any food, especially like it's used as a thickener in gumbo. So you could use that in place of flour to thicken soups and be really
Here's
good.
what I like about vegetable powders, and especially with those that have kids, when you make a fruit smoothie with whatever fruit powder you have, they're great for you, but why not kick it up a notch? Throw some powdered vegetables. Even me as an adult, I don't eat enough vegetables, but I know I can add some vegetable powder into my smoothie. Boom, I've just cured two things, in one drink.
Okay. Kaylin, all right, I'm going to throw Kaylin's comment up here. She did a video on how to use one style of capsule filler, but it got flagged but not taken down. Probably somebody claimed, oh, she's copying my video or something, or using something from their stuff. But hey, Chipper66.
You can buy those little glycerin capsules if you don't like to swallow certain things or you don't like the taste. A lot of people put garlic in the glycerin capsules to take garlic for medicinal purposes.
Okay, that's now, Chipper, thank you for that. That's something I hadn't thought of, doing freeze-dried candies online. Yeah.
Our farmers market, there's people that will sell you the freeze-dried candies, but they'll also let you lease their freeze dryer for a run of food.
Yep.
And that's a great way to try some of that stuff, but the candy's delicious.
But believe it or not, if you dedicate to just meat with your freeze dryer, your ROI will be done in 6 months easy.
All right, Teresa, out there on your comment here, when you're making I'm always getting wrong. Tincture? Oh, I can't.
Tinctures.
Anyways, with that C in there with that C in the middle there with no vowel on either side throws me off. Do you powder the herbs first before you make it, or do you, Oh, so I wasn't sure how you make your tinctures, but I've.
Tinctures are very interesting because you can use all the whole powder, some that you just want to let soak and marinate in the liquid to get out what you want from it.
Technically, vanilla is a tincture because you put the whole bean in the alcohol. Yeah. So technically, when you make vanilla, you're making a tincture. So if you made vanilla, you could make a tincture yourself for health purposes. It's not a hard thing.
So long as it's not imitation vanilla, like Courtney likes to talk about where that comes from, and we're not going to talk about that here. Hey, Tina Weber, how's it going? And Ginger Ninja's in the house. All right. I'm just so many questions I want. I am not an expert on the subject at all. I am the baby in the woods. I'm in kindergarten when it comes to this. All right. And so that's what I want to try to, get input from the side chat, people that do it and everything else. And there's just so much that we all need to learn, because even some people that have been doing some stuff for a while one way and someone else is doing another way, all of a sudden they realize, ooh, we can trade off ideas here. All right, we got okay. he hands okay. This is goldenrod, echinacea, or a cherry bark. Okay. Okay, and I have a stack of 20 herbalism and forage books by the recliner. Yeah, I got a feeling once my wife moves up here and she's no longer working, that yeah, she's going to spend a lot of time reading, and she'll probably be reading the books to the grandkids, like trying to get them to learn how to read.
Shawnee, I actually make my pancakes and my scrambled eggs, my French toast, all with powdered eggs, powdered milk. I actually like the taste of powdered eggs almost more than my quail eggs.
Yeah.
Almost, not quite, but almost.
All right. So, question here from Christy: doesn't dehydrating the herb first help the tincture last longer?
Yes, because the water in the tincture can make it spoil.
Okay.
So you want to dehydrate your herbs, even if you just dehydrate some. Some you just have to dehydrate for a couple of days. Some you want fully dehydrated before you put them in the tincture.
Hey, Diggs Outdoors here, and okay, I want to throw this. Okay, I found about 4 pounds of pears today. I want to try to make baby food.
I have a funny story about that.
Okay.
My kids wouldn't eat pears, and I got great big boxes of them. I got every pear off this tree given to me, and my girls would not eat pears. So my mom said, let's sauce it. Of course, if you call it pear sauce, they won't eat it. So we made baby sauce. I was expecting my son. So we made many jars of baby sauce, and you can, it's the same as buying baby applesauce for babies in the store or pear sauce for babies in the store without all the additives. My kids absolutely loved it. So when my daughter got pregnant, she wanted to know how to make my baby sauce, and I had to confess to her that baby sauce did not have apples. It was all pears.
Yeah. One of the things that I've noticed with my grandsons, they go through a lot of apples, and I'm worried about how sweet the apples are. They'll eat 3 or 4 apples a day if they can get to them. And when my wife comes up, or when I go to California, she sends back with me a couple 5-gallon buckets of apples off our trees there. And the kids just start, I've always wondered about, making, and they love applesauce as well. So making, adding, pear sauce and other stuff to it as well. Just catching up on the side thing there. Okay. Guys, quit poking fun at Tammy.
Hey, secretly I'm Wonder Woman. You can't see my invisible plane. Shh.
All right. So here's a good reason to do other sauces. Yeah. Someone's allergic to froze. Someone's allergic to apple, so pear sauce, other sauces stuff.
Peach sauce is a really good one too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. My grandsons all like the peach baby food. And actually, we would get the. My daughter got she got a bunch of some peach sauce stuff that wasn't in one of those things that you easily do for the kids. So we bought those little packets that has a little screw-on knob on the end of it. It was Ziploc on the side. Opened it up, filled it full of the peach sauce, zipped it closed, and then the kids would grab it and then just suck the out of it.
When my kids were little, you could actually buy the jars of fruit powders and mix it with water for baby food. And it was actually baby food that you bought that was in flake form. And I don't know why they don't sell that in stores now. That was so lightweight to put in the diaper bag instead of those heavy little glass jars that clang around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, from my daughter, we're not going to be expecting any more grandkids, but I got 2 boys. So one of these days, they might find the right woman to put up with their craziness. And we'll have more grandkids coming, but yeah, I like to powder herbs. Oh, cool. Green smoothies, powdered herbs and medicinals. Yeah. One of the things that I want to do besides I mentioned about the salsa, is pasta sauces. It's basically the powdered mix of pasta sauces. So I just need to rehydrate it to make a, whatever type pasta sauce, I got the cans of it here. I got garlic, onion. I got the 4 cheese, Italian sausage. What's the one? I can't read it there. Roasted garlic and basil stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Albany Mountain Homestead. Now, I was kind of wondering since I have all this canned stuff I stocked up on 2 years ago, if I wanted to do something with the canned sauces, can I use a regular dehydrator, or do I need a freeze dryer to dry it all out properly so it doesn't go bad on me? And so it doesn't, I know freeze dryer takes time, but I'm worried about possible botulism, whatever, bacteria getting into it while it's dehydrating.
As long as you're keeping clean while you're doing things, you can dehydrate. I would probably prefer freeze drying, but you can dehydrate. But the thing with the dehydrating is you're going to have, like the tomatoes, you're going to have to drain those off.
No, this is this is the sauce, the pre-done Botanosaurus sauce. I want to.
That I would actually stick with the freeze dryer. I wouldn't even attempt. Okay. I'm sure you could.
I have canned it or taken canned sauce and dehydrated it on my trays with the big size. It takes a long time to get the water out of it. You get more like a fruit leather.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking would happen.
You don't have to worry about botulism, though. You have to remember, there's 3 things about botulism. One, we call botulism the organism. There's botulism the toxin, and botulism the spores. In order to get the toxin, the organism has to form a spore by being in an oxygen-free environment under pressure. You don't just get botulism the toxin, it only comes from being under pressure in an oxygen-free environment. So you're not going to get a botulism toxin from dehydrating because you're out in the oxygen and it's exposed to air. It's not going to form the toxin. So you don't have to worry about it forming after you've canned it.
Okay. All right. And Pastor McQuarrie says just use plastic trays and dehydrate it and down till it's, and then powder it once it's, to that. Gardner Josh was asking best way to make powdered eggs. And Pastor McQuarrie told Josh that she I've been trying to rotate them, but it's like this thing is, so it's like I don't, if I started eating that much pasta, to eat all that sauce, I gained 20 pounds in a month. So my wife wants me to start losing weight, so I'm cutting back on the amount I'm eating. So what was a year and a half worth of food storage here is now 2.5 years.
That's an even better reason for you to get the freeze dryer. So you can make all that stuff, freeze dry it. So now it's going to last even longer.
30 years. Isn't it all the stuff you buy freeze dried from all those places?
25 to 30 years.
Yeah. Well, what I like about talking about that commercially done freeze dried stuff, the ones that work the best use nitrogen when they can it or package it to displace the oxygen. Unlike another company, I thought they didn't have to, and all of a sudden their stuff, was not so wise anymore. Hint, hint. And people were opening up their packages, and it was a black goo inside, or the cans. They didn't get it totally oxygen free, and the moisture in the air when they were canning it got in there, and just they had black mold growing in their stuff because they didn't displace the oxygen.
I made the mistake of buying one of those companies you mentioned food and taking it hiking without taste testing it. Oh, it'll be good. It'll be good. Oh, it was so bad, and I had to carry it. And I've already reconstituted it. I can't eat it, and because of bears in the Smoky Mountains, I had to hike with that in my backpack for 3 days out of there.
Yeah.
I will never look at that company's food ever again.
Yeah, and then they changed their name trying to get away from it. But yeah, however, the other company just they don't know what I do. For over 40 years, I've been using Mountain House. I have stuff that's 40 years old, and every now and then I crack into it. It's as good as the day I bought it. They're one of the companies that uses nitrogen in all their canned food dehydrating stuff. So.
Well, it's also
the big cans or the packets, they use the nitrogen in there. And another company is starting to use the argon, or an argon nitrogen mix, because I guess it's cheaper. But it does the same thing. They use it also in wine as well. So that said, if I wound up like a quart jar of powder stuff and I wanted to seal it for a long time, you can get those little, like a size of a can of WD-40, but it's not. Has a little tube on it. It has the nitrogen. You can stick that down in there and slowly tap it now and then to get the oxygen displaced out of there.
Well, you can actually do it yourself, even on bigger home brewers use nitrogen a lot for beer. Certain beers are better carbonated with nitrogen than carbon dioxide. And you can get a big old cylinder of nitrogen and use it yourself. It don't take much nitrogen to displace oxygen.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just catching up on the chat here. That's going to kill the Alaskan salmon. Don't get the canned, get the fresh.
It's not really the salmon that they're canning. It's actually a fermented fish oil and fat. It's not like whale blubber, but it's kind of like whale blubber. It's not really the salmon.
Yeah, okay, I'm just catching up on some of the others here. And Kaylin says, and they still put oxygen absorbers in the cans. Yeah, some companies they'll toss the oxygen absorber and the moisture absorber in there to get anything else in it, to keep anything from going bad on it. I'm just trying to think here. So is there anything you would not powder? Can't think of anything. Okay. So, all right, good. That sounds great. Options now just expanded. Now, one of the things, you weren't supposed to do that yet, Ray.
He just won't leave me alone. I'm like, I have no hair to sniff.
Anyways, all right.
Are you just a big kid? Sorry, I went there.
Emma says, "Save Fat Man." Yeah, all right. Tennessee says, avocado, not the powder. Just got too much fat in it. So
that's a good point.
Yeah. So that would be one, not the powder. What other ways can you preserve avocados for long term? Anybody have it? Freeze them?
Back up. You can pickle them. You can freeze them. But you can pickle them. You can can them, but you have to pickle them.
All right.
So I don't do.
I
avocados,
do
so-
not eat avocados. I have never been able to stand the taste of them. Sorry, folks. It's just a texture taste thing for me. My mom loved them. My wife loves them. You know,
It's
my
the whole
brother
coloring
loves
thing
them.
for
You know,
me.
I just never could, get over it.
Yeah, it's the whole coloring. The green color just. Yeah,
No, it's not. It's
it
not
doesn't look
that.
right in a puree form.
It's not that. It's just that the taste. I can't do it. Now, what Duran? Not sure what that is. All right. All right. Tennessee just freezes them. Okay.
And you're supposed to leave the pit in them when you freeze them, or when you puree them and put them in something to freeze. It helps keep it from turning brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives off. It's almost like a pectin type thing response with it. I've heard that. Oh, here we go. The world's stinkiest fruit from Asia. Okay.
It looks good though.
All right, Ray. You need to slap that guy and get him out of there and put your chef's hat back on. Dig says don't powder guacamole, but you could probably freeze guacamole in containers.
Yeah, you could freeze guacamole. I know hikers that do dehydrate it and take it, but it turns brown. It looks like baby poop, but they like it.
So they have to put it in one of those packages when they mix it, rehydrate or whatever. They can't see what it looks like, and then they just suck it out. And Dustin's going there with Duran.
And the durian, they said, among other unsavory smells, it smells like stinky socks. I will not eat cheese that smells like stinky socks, so I do not think
I
eat
will.
fruit that smells like stinky.
The stinkier the cheese, the better it tastes.
All right.
See, this is what the body you get for eating powdered vegetables and powdered fruits.
All right. You just made me lose my train of thought there with that one, Derek. Right?
Really? That's the one that got you?
Really? That's the one I just totally blew out of my mind what I was going to think about here. See if I can rewind my brain here.
It worked for Jack LaLanne. That's the body Jack LaLanne got.
Yeah. Maybe something to side chat would remove it. Guacamole.
That's the body I post on all those
dating
websites.
Now remember. Yeah, talking about stinky cheeses, but what about just like regular cheeses and stuff? I mean, I know I'm going to touch on a sensitive subject with probably a lot of people. On like Hamburger Helper, you get the cheesy enchilada or the macaroni and cheese. You have your cheese sauces. What is a way to make, other than all the crap they put in there to make their powdered cheese sauce, to make a real powdered cheese sauce?
Freeze drying, I'm going to say, would be the best way. You can dehydrate cheese in the dehydrator, but you have to go in there and blot the oil off it constantly.
Yeah.
To remove
exactly
it.
What she says.
Okay.
I'm going to go with freeze drying is the best way, but
even then you have to put down paper towels to absorb the oils that will come out.
Those cheese sauces are really milk solids that have been flavored to taste like cheese. They're not treated. Actual real cheese. I mean, they have the ingredients of cheese, but they're not the whole cheese.
Yeah, they're not the actual process of making cheese.
Just catching up in the side chat. I'm not even going to repeat that one. But
Shawnee, believe it or not, there is a recipe out there for a shelf-stable mayonnaise that does not use oil or egg. It uses cream cheese, actually.
You can actually powder butter though with a freeze dryer. You can get powdered butter and buy it.
Yeah.
There's no reason to powder syrup because real syrup like maple syrup will keep forever.
And
honey
ever.
keeps forever if you keep it the water out of it.
Yeah.
See, I thought with butter that would be a one of those other things that you wouldn't be able to freeze dry because of the fat content of the butter itself.
I bought powdered butter, so
They do make powdered butter.
I bought powdered butter from one of those companies. Look at the ingredients. It's just like what you said, Tammy. The same thing with cheese powder, the cheese powder that they sell. It just the solids and a whole mess of other chemicals.
Was that?
It's
was
not
that,
butter.
There was one. Let's see if I can find it here. I know it was on Amazon. They had it, and several guys have done reviews on it, including Anthony at Pimento Prepared, and he's very picky about stuff like that. Powdered butter. The one brand was I got several brands here. Wow, even Augustin Farms says powdered butter. Wiser Hill says theirs is real butter powder, but there was another one that was in a metal can, and they don't seem to have it on Amazon anymore. It's like the I want to say the posh, you need Grey Poupon butters, powdered butters, and it's not coming up right now. It was like Red Wing or something, or Red something or other, powdered butter, and
Red Feather.
Red Feather, that's it.
I know Red Feather does canned butter.
Yeah, maybe it was just canned butter then. Yeah,
and that's actually pretty good. Now I've had Augustin Farms butter powder, and I will never in my life buy butter powder again. That was the nastiest stuff I've ever had.
Right.
I'm a fat man, so if I think it's nasty, it's got to be pretty bad.
Yeah, okay. I just want to see something right here. I'm pulling something up. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. So I pulled up the Hoosier Hill powdered butter. I'm trying to see what the ingredients are if it zooms in enough on it. That's the nutrition. All right. Butter is sweet cream, salt, the coloring to make it yellow, and non-fat milk solids. That's it. So that's what the Hoosier Hills is. And let's see what Augustin Farms says theirs is. Ingredients: powdered butter, it has other crap in there too. Yeah. So yeah. So I don't know. If the canned butter, how long it lasts? And Ray, do you know anything about the Red Feather?
Yeah, it lasts almost forever. I mean, under the right conditions. There's people that have bought it like 5 or 10 years ago and are still using it.
Okay. So that's what this is what we're talking about.
I mean, it's no different than the process that Tammy's gone through. I know Tammy has, because I've seen her videos where she cans butter. It's exact same process.
Oh, Albany Mountain just piqued my interest on this one. Make a bacon glaze. Powdered honey, maple sugar, syrup, and other spices. A lot less mess. Cool.
Maple sugar is really good.
I love maple on I make maple milkshakes. So make my milkshake, and I take my good.
Actually, that sounds good. Now maple and
syrup,
bacon,
real maple syrup, and glug 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 glug. Yeah.
Maple and bacon milkshake.
Oh, good
That sounds
question
good.
here. Good question. Can you keep powders in your vehicle in hot or freezing temps?
No.
Freezing temps, I don't think would be a problem. The hot would be a problem.
Heat destroys food. End of discussion. Whether it's a powder form, whether it's freeze dried, heat destroys the food.
Okay, just a second here, Albany. I'm going to look up, you asked a question about Thrive Life. THR. Thrive Life butter. Let me see what it says here. Powdered butter. There we go. Let's pull this one up. Come on, from Thrive Life. And does not show any. They show only the front of the can. They don't show the ingredients of it, other than saying it's gluten-free, no GMOs, no artificial colors or flavors. So I'm not
I wonder if
sure.
they're using a modified food starch.
Yeah, I'm not sure on this. There's not showing anything there. I'm going to go back here and see if I can find one more. Hit it another way and maybe find it elsewhere. Ingredients. And then go to images. Oh, wait. Powdered butter is made from actual butter, non-milk solids, sodium caseinate, milk protein, disodium phosphate, anti-caking additive. And so that's what it says here for Thrive Life. So I'll just show you what I found. So when I did Thrive Life butter ingredients, here's what came up. So
here's the problem with powdered butter, folks. First of all, you can't use it as regular butter. You're not going to put it rehydrate it, put it in a pan and expect it to melt so that you can fry with. It tastes different. I would go, me personally, and I have already, go over to Cammie's site, watch her can butter, and talk about the canning process of butter, and just can it yourself.
There. All right. I just nuked that spam bot. Okay, so I got that one done. Black walnut syrup is awesome too. And
it's a lot harder to find.
Yeah. All right, so Albany's canned butter, over a year old, still good, was told it would only last 6 months. I've heard canned butter lasts longer than that.
They can, yes.
I've used butter that was 3 years old. That's the longest I've had it in my pantry before I used it up. So
Chipper agrees with you.
Yeah.
So, Sharon, that's one of the things I'm going to have to learn to do too. Now, my next question is for anybody out there in the side chat and on the panel here: frozen butter. Like you go to Costco and you buy some of their packs of butter. How long will butter last in the freezer?
it's going to depend on what else you have in the freezer with it. Mm-hmm. You really need to take your butter when you bring it home and wrap it in some saran wrap. Leave it in what it's in. Mm-hmm. Wrap it in another layer of saran wrap or something, because it will pick up odors. So if you have a lot of that canned salmon from Alaska you didn't can, it's going to taste bad pretty quick.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, not to mention whether or not if you're putting it in deep freeze storage in a freezer that you're not going to be opening constantly, because that's one of the things that causes foods in the freezers to go bad, is the constant opening and closing of that freezer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, usually we put it in at the bottom of the freezer. Our chest freezers are turned down to the coldest they will go. And so, usually the only meats we freeze in our freezers is like the hamburger chubs, that are in the one wrapper, and then the other, and you get 5 of them from Costco in it. So like that, or if I've done in some of my videos where I've taken the hamburger patties and either cook them and then put them in the seal a meal and freeze it that way, or just put the patties into the seal a meal and freeze them first so they won't stick together, and then stick them in the seal a meal and freeze it that way. So, but no, none of the freezers here in Idaho have fish in them. None of them. Well, scratch that. The refrigerator freezer has fish sticks in it because I only get a package at a time, and it lasts me for quite a while. But
see, I got to pimp Tammy over here because I'm glad I ran into her channel, because I want butter and cream cheese. I cannot keep enough of, and my choices were the powder, and I tried the powdered butter. I'm like, oh, the cream cheese is probably going to be just as bad. Then I learned I could can the damn stuff myself, and it made sense, and I started watching. So I got to pimp Tammy down there, because y'all need to check that stuff out. Because if you're like me, I like butter. I do not like vegetable spread crap. Ugh. I want real butter. And I can't keep things in the freezer that long.
Yeah, and I was spoiled in my teenage years. We had cows, milk cows. Guernsey,
you had fresh butter.
Guernsey Jersey mix. A gallon of fresh milk from the cow would produce over a quart of super, super heavy cream. So heavy that after the 24 hours in the fridge, I could drop a quarter from 12 inches and it would thunk and just stick in the top and not go in. That made the best ice cream. That's the only thing that will make me get a milk cow again. Plus that I hate powdered milk.
Powdered milk is just not the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Although that's come a long way since we were kids. It's a lot better.
A lot of difference is the fact that I found that 2% or non-fat powdered milk tastes nasty. Whole milk powder tastes a whole lot better and more like milk. Even the buttermilk powder tastes more like buttermilk than.
And when we were kids, you couldn't get whole milk powder. That's very recent on the market.
Yeah, and it doesn't last as long as non-fat powdered milk.
No,
though.
it doesn't. It doesn't store as long either, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, you do have a higher fat content in it, so.
And of course, we have Garden State Gardener in the side chat. Hey, Joe. All right, we've been up here for an hour, which is, and a lot of information. I know I'm going to have to go back and watch this again to pick up information, some of the information, especially so I can reread the side chat, because there was a bunch of information in there. Can I drop the link? Pastor McGuady, give me a second, and I'll take care of that for you. And okay, Pastor McGuady, give it about another 15 seconds for YouTube to catch up, and then you should be able to drop a link.
Ooh, black walnut trees. Yum.
Oh, bought shelf-stable milk Horizon. So where did you get that from?
You can get Horizons at Walmart.
Oh.
But it's
dependent upon your Walmart, though.
Yeah. And then I also gotten it off Amazon.
I haven't seen it with my Walmart, but there's 2 other brands that they do offer that I'm going to actually order Wednesday to see how good or not they are.
My sons love the chocolate milk. And they like the vanilla milk better than the plain white milk.
Okay, so this is the Horizon milk. There it goes. So it's still milk. It's not powdered, but it's canned. Basically, I guess it's kind of canned. So
it's been irradiated like they do in Europe.
Well, ultra high pasteurization, which if you do get that, you really don't want to. If you like to make cheese, that's not something you want to really make cheese out of. It really messes up the proteins in the milk. And the only thing I don't like about Horizon is I've only found it in the 8 ounces. I would rather try to find it in the quarts, because for 8 ounces, I think you're overpaying price wise.
For the packaging.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's really targeting kids' lunch boxes. That's what
Yeah.
they're packaged for.
Yeah. And that's and for that, that's probably to get your kids to have that's what is that 8-ounce container. So that would be something I might get for the grandkids so that they can do it. Okay, warehouse 15. Okay. Foods, products, canned. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't do it. I'm gonna have to pull up something else here. Give me a second here to do it this way here. Bring it up over here because I got two different computers. I'm doing my comments on YouTube on the one computer, and StreamYard won't let me as the host highlight the link myself. Yeah, it won't let me highlight the link anyway here. So let me grab it. I got to go this way here and bring it up over here.
Now, Kaylin, have you had that Lala? I have that in my Walmart cart waiting for me to order on Wednesday. I haven't had it, and I want to know if it tastes decent.
Warehouse 15. Okay, this is just a bunch of canned goods for big bulk cans. Okay, that's what that link is for. All right, cool. It's a bulk cannery for stuff. Yeah, cool. All right, so let's see. Just catch up the thing here.
Tennessee Bushcrafter, I've had almond milk. I don't like it. That, to me, it's nasty.
Yeah, my daughter has the grandkids doing almond milk and stuff, but they also like the regular milk they get over here at Grandpa's. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up. Let me grab this so I can let everybody know what's coming up here on it. I think. All right, so in 22 minutes, Courtney has a members. Is that a members only live, or is it just a normal live tonight?
No, members only.
Members only. So if you're a member of Wide Family Farm, 99 cents per month to be a member of it. She has some really interesting stuff, and that's what she's doing tonight is a members only live. Tomorrow night on Gray Man Prepping. That's this one here, Gray Man Prepping with an A in gray, the American way here. We're good. The topic is going to be medications for get your lover off your shoulder there, Ray. It's going to be talking about medications for your preps and storage. All right, that's better. Or just go ahead and do that first one you were doing when we first started with the just the eyes and the mouth showing up in it.
You mean
So we're gonna be doing medications. Yeah, your loaf of bread there. There we go.
I was thinking that Corky was going to be here, and I had the title "Ghost of Burnt Bread," "Ghost of Burnt Loaves."
Yeah. So medication on Tuesday for Gray Man Prepping. On Thursday, on Gray Man Prepping, both Gray Man Prepping are at 10 o'clock Eastern. After the contagion, what are your plans? This Thursday is a scenario based. Poking fun at the fearmongers and the fear porn peddlers out there that are, So we're just going to poke fun at there's going to be a great contagion, not a pandemic, a contagion that's going to wipe everybody out. And so that's what that is. And let's see here. Friday night is the last Friday night in the homestead I'm going to be doing. Everybody, the vast majority wanted me to keep Monday night because I'm dialing it back here so I can have more time out doing stuff around here. So, but this Friday is how big is big enough for your garden, and we're going to be talking about that. We're going to have Courtney in here and several other gardeners. And we're talking about getting the most out of your garden. So how big of an area is big enough to be able to survive on it? And then next Monday here on February 14th, the topic is Love Homestead homestead style. So instead of Love American style, it's going to be Love Homestead style, truer than the red, white, and blue. Yeah, all right. Anyways, so that's what's going to be next Monday here. So we're going to cut out of here. If you're members of White Family Farm, head on over there. She's setting up. And just want to remind everybody, stay happy no matter what life throws at you. Stay safe. Don't go out and do anything foolish. Keep adding to your preps, water, food, skills, equipment, cannings, dehydrators, all that other fun stuff, so you can thrive in a disaster and not just survive. All righty. So with that, we're going to